Do the greatest racehorses always become the greatest sires? The answer isn't as simple as you might think. While some champions like Seattle Slew built lasting bloodlines, others like Secretariat struggled to pass on their brilliance. The truth is, a stallion's legacy isn't always immediate. Sometimes their impact is felt decades later. So how did the top 10 racehorses of the 20th century fare at stud? Let's dive into the fascinating world of breeding and uncover the surprises. At number 1, we have Man O' War, a racehorse whose influence on breeding is nothing short of extraordinary. Born in 1917, this legendary stallion not only dominated the track, but also left a genetic legacy that continues to shape modern racing. His sire, Fair Play, was known for passing on a mix of speed and stamina, while his dam, Mahuba, brought elite endurance from the English Triple Crown winner, Rock Sand. These traits made Man O' War a game-changer in breeding, siring some of the most successful racehorses in history. Among his greatest progeny was War Admiral, the 1937 Triple Crown champion, and Battleship, the first American-bred horse to conquer the English Grand National. His bloodline also led to racing giants like Seattle Slew, Dr. Fager, and Kelso, ensuring his dominance extended across generations. Despite breeding fewer mares than modern stallions, he sired an astounding 64 stakes winners, making him the leading sire of 1926. His descendants still shape today's pedigrees, with influential stallions like Danzig, Mr. Prospector, and Sadler's Wells tracing back to him. Even beyond flat racing, his genes produced elite show jumpers and steeplechasers, proving his versatility across equestrian sports. Man O' War didn't just sire winners, he built a dynasty. Next, we have Secretariat, the 1973 Triple Crown winner, whose sheer dominance on the track remains unmatched. Known as Big Red, he was a racing marvel, setting records that still stand today. However, his impact as a sire tells a more complex story. While he sired over 660 foals, many failed to replicate his on-track brilliance. Yet, Secretariat's legacy in breeding is far from a disappointment. His daughter, Weekend Surprise, produced AP Indy, a Belmont Stakes winner and one of the most influential sires of modern times. Another daughter, Terlingua, gave rise to Stormcat, a stallion whose bloodline shaped generations of champions, including Justify and American Pharaoh, while his direct male offspring, like Risen Star and General Assembly, found success. His true genetic power lay in his daughters. He became the leading broodmare sire in 1992, proving that his DNA was a crucial ingredient for elite racing pedigrees. His influence extends through the maternal line, with his genes appearing in Hall of Fame inductees and Triple Crown winners. Though Secretariat may not have been the dominant stallion many expected, his lasting impact as a broodmare sire solidifies his place as one of the most influential sires in history. His unparalleled stamina, power, and heart continue to shape racing, proving that sometimes the best sires leave their mark in ways beyond direct success. At number 3, we have Citation, a horse whose racing dominance is unquestioned, but whose impact as a sire fell far short of expectations. The first thoroughbred to earn over $1 million, Citation was a Triple Crown champion and a near-invincible force on the racetrack. However, the brilliance he displayed on the track failed to fully translate to his offspring. His most notable progeny, Fabius, won the 1956 Preakness Stakes, but failed to establish a lasting bloodline. Silver Spoon, a Hall of Fame filly, was his best overall descendant, making a mark by defeating colts in the Santa Anita Derby, and later influencing elite European bloodlines. Other Citation-sired runners, such as Guadalcanal and Get Around, earned respectable purses, but never reached their sire's level of greatness. Despite producing 12 stakes winners, only 4.4% of his foals achieved stakes success, a far lower rate than expected for a Triple Crown winner of his caliber. Much like Secretariat, Citation ultimately found his greatest genetic impact through his daughters, whose influence subtly weaved into future generations. His legacy as a sire may be overshadowed by his legendary racing career, but his name still holds weight in the lineage of modern champions. Citation serves as yet another reminder that a dominant racehorse doesn't always translate into a dominant stallion, proving that genetics and breeding success remain unpredictable forces in the sport. Coming in at number 4 is War Admiral, a Triple Crown winner and Hall of Fame racehorse who carved out an enduring legacy, not just for his own accomplishments, but for the champions he helped produce. The son of the legendary Man O' War, War Admiral inherited both his sire's fighting spirit and competitive fire, Yet his career in the breeding shed was more respectable than revolutionary. He was the leading sire in North America in 1945, proving his ability to produce elite runners even if none fully matched his own dominance. War Admiral was a good sire, producing numerous successful offspring, further solidifying his status in thoroughbred history. Among his best offspring were Busher, a sensational filly who became Horse of the Year, and Busanda, who later produced the influential stallion Buckpasser, a major force in thoroughbred breeding. Blue Peter and Admiral V were also successful stakes winners, showcasing War Admiral's ability to pass down speed and endurance. At stud, he produced several stakes winners, most notably Mr. Longhorn, but none of his progeny emerged as superstars on the level of their sire. Instead, his daughters played a crucial role in shaping future bloodlines, with his genes appearing in generations of elite racehorses. At number 5, we have Count Fleet, the 1943 Triple Crown winner and a horse whose dominance on the racetrack carried over into a remarkable stud career. Count Fleet wasn't just a champion, he was a generational influence, siring an extraordinary 3-generation sequence of classic winners. His most notable direct offspring included Kentucky Derby winner Count Turf and Belmont Stakes champions Counterpoint and One Count, proving his ability to pass down both speed and endurance. However, Count Fleet's legacy extends far beyond his own foals. He is the maternal grandsire of Prince John, a key foundation stallion whose genetic influence runs through Cosine, Alleged, and Riverman, major sires who shaped European and American racing alike. While his direct sire line faded, his broodmare daughters carried on his influence, proving once again that a stallion's greatness isn't always measured by his own sons, but rather by the champions that come through his daughters' bloodlines. Count Fleet's mark on thoroughbred breeding is undeniable, as his genes continue to shape elite racehorses decades after his time on the track. At number 6, we have Dr. Fager, a horse known for unparalleled speed and versatility, setting world records that still stand today. On the track, he was untouchable, winning championship titles in 4 different divisions in the same year, an unmatched feat in racing history. However, in the breeding shed, his dominance didn't translate directly into top-tier sires. Though he sired champions like Dearly Precious, a U.S. champion filly, and Dr. Patches, a champion sprinter, his stallion career was cut short after just 8 crops, limiting his influence. But while his direct sire line faded, Dr. Fager's name remains vital through his daughters. His most influential broodmare daughters, Demure, Killaloe, and Remedia, produced some of the most important sires of modern times. He is the broodmare sire of Fapiano, who became the foundation of a powerful sire line that includes Unbridled, Empire Maker, and American Pharaoh. He also appears in the pedigrees of elite racehorses like Quiet American and Commendable, ensuring his genes live on in the sport's greatest champions. Though Dr. Fager may not be as visible in modern pedigrees as Native Dancer or Mr. Prospector, his contributions through his daughters cement him as a quiet yet essential force in thoroughbred breeding. At number 7, we have Native Dancer, a racehorse whose legacy goes far beyond the track. Known as the Grey Ghost, he won 21 of his 22 starts, becoming racing's first television superstar and capturing the imagination of an entire generation. But while his dominance on the track was impressive, his influence in the breeding shed was game-changing. Native Dancer is considered one of the most influential post-World War II sires, with nearly every modern thoroughbred tracing back to him. His greatest contribution to the breed came through his 2 legendary offspring, Reza Native and Natalma. Reza Native became the sire of Alidar, Mr. Prospector, one of the most dominant stallions in history, whose lineage includes champions like American Pharaoh, Curlin, and Fusaichi Pegasus. Natalma, on the other hand, produced Northern Dancer, arguably the most important stallion of the 20th century, with his bloodlines shaping European and American racing through champions like Sadler's Wells, Galileo, and Frankel. Additionally, Native Dancer is the paternal grandsire of Seabird, one of Europe's greatest racehorses, and the maternal grandsire of Ruffian, one of the most brilliant fillies in racing history. His genetic impact is impossible to overstate. Native Dancer reshaped thoroughbred breeding, and today, nearly every elite racehorse carries a piece of his bloodline. He wasn't just a great stallion, he was a revolutionary force who forever changed the sport. At number 8, we have Affirmed, the 1978 Triple Crown winner, cemented his place in racing history with a legendary rivalry against Alidar, battling neck and neck in all three classic races. Trained by Las Barrera and ridden by Steve Cawthon, who became the youngest jockey to win the Triple Crown, Affirmed was a model of consistency and determination. He earned Horse of the Year honors in 1978 and 1979, showcasing his brilliance beyond the Triple Crown. However, his impact as a sire was moderate at best. While he produced some quality racehorses, including Flawlessly, a Hall of Fame turf star, and Piteski, the 1993 Canadian Triple Crown winner, he failed to sire a true superstar that could carry on his male line. Other notable progeny, such as Charlie Barley and Affirmed Success, found success in stakes races, but none reached the heights of their sire. Though Affirmed's racing career remains legendary, his influence as a stallion never matched the dominance he displayed on the track. At number 9, we have Seattle Slew, the 1977 Triple Crown winner, was not only a dominant racehorse but also one of the most influential sires in modern thoroughbred breeding. Unlike many other Triple Crown champions, his brilliance translated into the breeding shed, making him a transformational stallion. He was North America's leading sire in 1984, producing elite racehorses such as AP Indy, the 1992 Horse of the Year, who went on to become a dominant sire. Through AP Indy, Seattle Slew's legacy extends to Bernardini, Mineshaft, and even California Chrome, making his influence undeniable in modern pedigrees. Other notable offspring include Slew a Gold, a multiple Grade 1 winner, and Swale, who won the Kentucky Derby and Belmont Stakes in 1984, before his untimely death. Unlike Affirmed, whose impact as a sire was modest, Seattle Slew's bloodline continues to thrive today, influencing many of the top racehorses of the modern era. His greatness was not only displayed on the track, but also in the breeding shed, where his male line remains one of the most significant in thoroughbred history. Rounding out our list at number 10 is Spectacular Bid, widely regarded as one of the greatest racehorses of all time. With an astonishing 26 wins in 30 starts and a world record-setting performance in the 1980 Woodward Stakes, his dominance on the track was nearly unmatched, but his stud career did not live up to expectations. Syndicated for a then-record $22 million, he failed to produce a top-tier sire, and his direct male line eventually faded. However, his legacy found new life through his daughters, as he became a broodmare sire of champions. His maternal grandson, Mozart, was an elite sprinter whose early death prevented a lasting impact at stud. Other notable descendants include Amanita, a Group 1 winning filly, and Cara Raffaella, the dam of Bernardini, who became a U.S. champion and influential stallion. Despite his underwhelming stud career, Spectacular Bid remains an icon in horse racing history, remembered for his unparalleled brilliance on the track rather than his contributions in the breeding shed. And that wraps up our deep dive into whether the greatest racehorses became the greatest sires. What's your take? Do you think racing brilliance always translates to breeding success? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more content. And stay tuned. In part 2, we'll explore the sire status of all horses rated 140+ by Timeform.